Hey guys, Titan Apprentice. Welcome back to another episode of Ecoflow Fridays. Today's video, we are testing this big stand-up freezer. Now, you might not be able to tell it, but this freezer is about maybe 5'8", 5'9", so it's a pretty tall freezer. It's almost as tall as I am. Currently, no light coming from it, right? It is unplugged from the wall. And again, we are testing the Delta 1300. So we are going to be seeing how long that the Delta can run this freezer. Now, this was originally the reason why I bought this Delta 1300. You also hear the second freezer kick on, kick off. So just know that the big freezer is plugged up to the Delta. The little freezer is still plugged up to the wall. Enough talking. Let's get this thing plugged up. According to the clock, it is 8:29. And according to the Delta Pro, or the Delta 1300, we are at 100%. So we've got the button here in the back. The Delta is plugged up. We got it turned on, and it ramped up to, what was that, 1300 watts? So right now the Delta is saying that it is about 130, 140 watts. That will run for somewhere between 9 and 10 hours. Now the good thing about a freezer is they should, ramp up and then shut off for a little while. At least that was the idea behind the fridge. If it runs somewhere close to what the second test on the fridge was, we're looking at somewhere over 12 hours. So it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to check back in on like 90 minutes and then again at 3 hours, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, currently it's 8:30. Test has began, and we'll see how far this lasts. Alright, y'all, 2 hour update. We are at 10:37. We started at 8:29, so a little over 2 hours. Press the button, and we are at 93%. So it is currently 12:38. We started this test at like 8:30, and we are at 87%. So apparently, when this thing kind of turns on and ramps up, this freezer right here, it's about 500 watts. So it hasn't turned on for a while, and now that it has, you can hear the fans running in the Delta. So it's not pushing out a lot of power, but 500 watts is still a decent amount. But we'll see how long this thing goes. 5.5 hour update, almost a 6 hour update. 2:30 would be the 6 hour update, and it is 2 o'clock. But I'm tired. I'm ready for bed. So we're going to do the 5.5 hour update instead of the 6 hour update. The last thing I said was like it ramped up. It's quiet now. You don't hear nothing. So that means the fridge or the freezer is going through a cycle right now. We're at 80%. At this rate, I've got no problem with it running throughout the night and kind of doing its thing. If it was lower, like in the 10s or the 20s or the 30s, I'd be like, 80%, 6 hours, so 20% in 6 hours. Yeah, I got no problem with it running all night. So we'll check back in the morning time. Alright, Joe. So update time. It is now the next morning. So let's see where we're at. And I know we're at 13 hours on the clock. Yeah, 13:20 according to my stopwatch, which was started after, this started. So it's a couple minutes behind, but 13 hours. So once again, 9:55, almost 10 o'clock in the morning. And 41%. Currently it's turned on 121 watts. Being pulled. Says it would run for 3 hours at this pace. But obviously we know that's going to be a while. So we'll see. Alright, y'all, we are at almost 18 hours, so a little give or take. I got to go to town, so we're going to do the 18-hour mark now. But anyways, it is 2:19, 2:20, and we are at 21% left, and it is currently running. So we'll see how much longer it has. If it kept up this 123, it would only last for an hour. So me and the wife are making bets, and I'm thinking it's going to last for like 26 hours. If it's 24-hour mark, I'll be, pretty happy about it. it's above that, even better. What'd you say, dear? 28?
I said 28.
She said 28. I said 26. Anything above 24 is good. So we'll see. Alright, y'all. 20 hours in. Let's check this bad boy right here. Time. 4:41. Percentage. 9%. And it's currently running at 116 watts. 51 minutes if it stayed on. I'm thinking it might get through. Maybe it'll reach that 24-hour mark, but we are at 20 hours right now. I think it might be like 22 hours. Play it safe at 22, but it might hit 24. That's going to be a stretch. We'll see. 21 hours and like 20-ish minutes, plus or minus a little bit, because I started my timer after the clock started going. But we are on 2%. Now I think if it would shut off, it might, wait another 30, 40 minutes and then kick on. We might hit that 22-hour mark. But I'm pretty sure this is all she wrote. Well, I was right. She shut off. So we have 2% left to make it through the next cycle. So I don't know when the next cycle is going to kick on, but when it does, that'll basically be it. So we might be able to hit that 22 hours, but right now we're at 21 and 21, according to my phone. So we shall see. All right, y'all. This should be the last time. It is 6:20. We started at 8:29 yesterday. We're on 1% remaining. So almost 22 hours. It's like 21, 45 or something like that. So over 20 hours. Not quite 24. But again, this is just the unit by itself. No solar panels inputted. And, this is a large freezer. I don't know what the temperature setting is. I don't know if it's the highest setting, if it's the lowest setting. I don't know how to change the temperature. So it is what it is, right? It is a Frigidaire. Like a 6-foot tall Frigidaire freezer. 22 hours. That's if we can get this last 9 minutes out of it. 22 hours. But I'm going to call it. Because I figured this, it'll run that 1 to 2% out. Or that 1% out. And that'll be it. That'll be all she wrote. Alright, folks. There it is. 6:29. The time that we started was 8:29. And we have 5 minutes remaining. We're pushing about 119, 120. 22 hours. Ecoflow Delta 1300. Yes, it technically has 1260 watt hours. They call it 1300. We'll run this big 6-foot tall freezer for 22 hours. Now, what I was thinking is that it's going to cut off on 1% and then be like, hey, I can still run for a little bit. But I think at 1% we can call it, right? 22 hours officially now, 8 minutes remaining, 1% left. I think we can call it. So now we know.